This is your opening line report for EPL Matchday 5. The action begins with the Merseyside derby on Saturday as Liverpool host Everton. Liverpool are the 1-2 favourites here. It's 15-4 on the draw and it's 11-2 here on Everton. Can't make a case for Everton. Liverpool will maintain their 100% record here. Everton will do what they usually do at the Merseyside derby. They'll make it ugly. They'll realise that they have inferior players. And they'll make it very difficult for Liverpool to break them down. It may take Liverpool some time to get the breakthrough. They are coming off the back of 1-0 wins against Arsenal and Burnley. And against Burnley, who was stubborn at the back as well, they needed a 93rd minute penalty from Mo Salah. It would not surprise me to see something different here, either a mistake, either a penalty, either another set piece, but I do think Liverpool will get the breakthrough. Liverpool are also playing tonight in the Champions League at home to Atletico Madrid, so we may see some tired legs here. Liverpool might not quite have the energy that they would want for a Merseyside derby. Remember, it's still early on in the season, so I look for Everton to make things difficult for them here. I look for Liverpool to win, but I look for there to be way less than 5 goals. So Liverpool under 4.5 goals would be my lean here for this one. Up next, we're looking at Brighton hosting Tottenham, where Brighton are a 6-5 favourite. It's 27-10 on the draw, and it's 2-1 here on Spurs. Brighton have had goal-scoring issues this season, whilst Tottenham have been much more compact, organised and defensive under Thomas Frank. I look for more of the same from Tottenham. This is a big switch up from Ange Postecoglou. I didn't think it would be this drastic. I didn't really have Thomas Frank in this category, but when you defended so poorly last year, maybe this is something that he's deliberately come in and addressed initially. And maybe Tottenham will become more expansive as the season moves on. But for now, I'm going to go for under 3 goals. If it does hit 3 goals, you only end up with a push. You win if there are no goals here, one goal here or 2 goals. And you only lose if there are 4 goals or more. And I just don't see it in this game based on the way that Tottenham have been playing on the Frank so far this season. Up next, you're looking at Burnley versus Nottingham Forest, where Burnley are a 23-10 favourite. It's 12-5 on the draw. And it's 13-10 here on Nottingham Forest. Burnley did very, very well at home to Liverpool last weekend and were very unlucky that Hannibal gave away the penalty. They'll be fancying their chances here more against Nottingham Forest, and for that exact reason, that should play into Nottingham Forest's hands. Nottingham Forest will have more gaps to exploit. I don't think we're going to see Ange ball, but I don't think we're going to quite see that brand of football we saw under Nuno, where it was just a case of setting up a low block, implementing that low block and taking opportunities to win the ball in transition and counter. I don't think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see a mishmash of things. This may lead to Nottingham Forest being a little bit confused about who they are or what they're doing at the moment, but I still think they'll be good enough to beat a Burnley team who I think will try and win this game, which will fall into Forest's hands. Up next, you're looking at West Ham hosting Crystal Palace, where Palace come to West Ham into 11-8 favourites, 5-2 on the draw, and West Ham here are a 2-1 home underdog. Lose this and you could end up losing your job before Ruben Amorim. I think it is down to Potter and Amorim for the next manager to go. I think this is going to be a low-scoring affair. I don't see too many goals in this, so I'd probably be looking towards the unders. If I took anybody to win this game, I'd probably be looking towards Crystal Palace. But ultimately, I'll be looking for this to be a low-scoring game more so than anything else. Up next, we look at Wolves versus Leeds, where this is a must-win for Wolves. They are the favourites to win it, but only just at 7-4. It's 11-5 on the draw, and it's 9-5 here on Leeds. This close pricing, the fact that Wolves aren't priced up as a shorter favourite here, tells me that the books actually see Leeds as the better team now in the Premier League and see Wolves as more likely to go down than Leeds, which surprises me because we're quite early on here in the season. Leeds, though, have picked up 4 points and Wolves have been absolutely awful. So I'm going to take Wolves in what is a must-win situation. They competed against Newcastle last week, only beaten 1-0. And if they can replicate that performance away at home here against Leeds, they should win this game. Leeds have lost all of their away games so far. It's key to Wolves that they have Strand Larsen available for this game. Otherwise, I'll probably change my pick and look for something else. But I think Wolves are the side here. Wolves probably in the draw no bet market to give myself some draw protection, give myself the push there. Up next, we're looking at Manchester United at home to Chelsea. And I don't understand his price. Man United are the same price as Chelsea to win this game. Both teams are priced up at 13-8 and the draw is available at 14-5. other than Chelsea having to come back from Munich after playing Bayern Munich, why would you give Manchester United a chance here in this game? Manchester United showed at the weekend they absolutely still are not in tune with Ruben Amorim's tactics. They're not suddenly going to get right for this game. I said at the start of the season that Manchester United would benefit from the fact that they would constantly have 6 or 7 days to prepare for fixtures while other teams will be playing in Europe. Well, this is that situation. This is the situation I should be jumping on, but I'm not going to under this manager. This team are disjointed. This team are confused. This team are playing a formation that isn't conducive to the EPL. They're going to continue to get overrun because they don't have the midfielders that are good enough to play this too. Ruben Amorim is Bruno Fernandes rather is not a number 8. He does not carry the workload required for a number 8. This is a creative playmaker being played in a defensive position, whilst you have Cunha and Mbeumo, who are expected to perform the attacking duties that Bruno Fernandes would have previously done. But even that, he didn't do well. He wasn't a great presser of the ball. And ultimately, his main benefit in the team was for him to be creative. Now he's even more surplus to requirements where he plays. Alongside him, you either have an old man Casemiro or a useless Ugarte, and Kobe Mainoo isn't being given game time because he's compared too much to Bruno, and they're said to be similar players. Well, bring Kobe in because Bruno Fernandes hasn't done shit so far. So this team are a mess. They're not playing in for this manager. We have the usual leaks. We have the usual issues. Luke Shaw simply needs to retire or move down to a lower level of football or go and play in a league that's easier than the EPL. He was responsible for all 3 of the goals last weekend. Not to say we shouldn't have got beaten or wouldn't have got beaten anyway, because Man City should have scored 5 or 6. Chelsea are the right side here. The price simply confuses me. Up next, we have another one of those late games on Saturday. This time it's Fulham at home to Brentford, where Fulham are an even money favourites, 5-2 on the draw, and it's 14-5 here on Brentford. I have Brentford early on in the season as a dark horse to go down. I'm not going to waver from that just because they managed to turn up in front of their home supporters and were cheered on to a performance. That was more so down to Chelsea being complacent and lacklustre. And here I like Fulham to pick up back-to-back home wins, although definitely not a strong lean at this point. We move across to Sunday, where we're looking at Bournemouth at home to Newcastle, where Newcastle here are a narrow underdog at 7-4. Bournemouth are a 6-4 favourite, and it's 5-2 on the draw. I'd be riding Bournemouth here, but only in the draw no bet market. I don't think Newcastle have the squad depth to deal with the Thursday-Sunday dichotomy. They're playing in a Champions League match against Barcelona. That's going to be massively emotional. And then you have to come down to this letdown spot against a Bournemouth team who are currently flying in the EPL. They performed well in all of those games. The manager, Areola, deserves a pat on the back. He has not suffered the consequences of selling his best defenders. He's immediately just managed to bring this side back up to the level that they were at the start of last season. I say at the start because they did fall away at the back end, and we'll see if that happens again to Bournemouth. But at the moment, we're at the start of the season, they're playing very, very well. They're getting results, and I fancied him here in the draw no bet market to be the right side against the Newcastle team who aren't scoring goals and who are dealing with a Thursday-Sunday fixture list. Up next, we look at Sunderland hosting Aston Villa. We're Sunderland at 12-5. It's 5-2 on the draw, and it's 11-10 here on Aston Villa. Aston Villa haven't scored a goal in the Premier League. They have now played 6 hours of football and haven't scored a single goal. Sunderland aren't exactly world beaters either when it comes to attacking talent. So I'm going to go for under 2.5 goals here. I would probably jump on this before the line moves. I'm still seeing some 4-5s available. And I can tell you this is a play I'm already high on. I don't need to wait for the EPL show or to give out my lock betting card to tell you that I'm very high on the under here, just because of the metrics and just because what we've seen from the two sides so far. They lack creativity. Aston Villa were a team last season who relied on goals from a select group of players. The loanees that came in also helped them massively, and now they're without those players, and they were handcuffed by not being able to do significant business in the window down to PSR. They also exited the Carabao Cup yesterday on penalty shootouts. It's looking like a long season for Villa. Take the under here. And finally, we close out with the game of the weekend as Arsenal are hosting Manchester City. Arsenal with even money favourites here. It's 14-5 on the draw, and it's 11-4 here on Man City. Man City are back. Everybody tells me Man City are back again because they beat a mess of a team called Manchester United, managed by a clueless clown called Ruben Amorim. I'll believe they're back when they're really back and they put a real run together and they're challenging for the title. Until I see that, give me Arsenal to win this game here at home. Man City beat a very poor Man United team in a Manchester derby. They also were, I think, motivated by the death of Ricky Hatton. Very, very sad. But I do feel that probably inspired Man City somewhat. They just came out the blocks fast. They were immediately inspired. Erling Haaland was ready to score goals coming off the international break where he scored a ton of them. And I think it was the perfect spot to take Man City. And I wish I had done. I took a different play instead, which I regret. It was one of the few mistakes I made at the weekend where we had a phenomenal weekend. Our only poor week so far has been week 3, but otherwise it has been an unbelievable start to the season. And you can benefit from that unbelievable start by signing up over at lockbetting.com. My service has delivered 147 months in a row of transparent and track profit. What that means is I've never, ever had a losing month in sports betting since I started this service over 12 years ago. Now, it's not a miracle service. I do have losing days. I even have losing weeks. I have bad patches. If you sign up, you might not win on your first day, but you will win eventually, and you don't need a huge bankroll to start. You can see this by looking through the spreadsheets, which I post everywhere. Go over to my Instagram, which is at lockbetting. You'll see the latest 3 spreadsheets posted to the top of the page. You'll see the type of bets we do, the sports we bet on, and most importantly, how we sensibly manage a bankroll. This is the only tracked and transparent service that I know of, and especially one that has delivered profit every single month for over 12 years. So be sure to check it out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.